Hello guys, it's your host from the Best Review Show. Let's fire up this review. Today's review is of episode 6 of Gamers. Now this is going to sound a little bit different because I didn't even take notes to do this now. Okay? So it's going to sound a little bit different. Where it ends up is in Gardenia, where it starts out is, and Urahara and Chiaki are talking, and Chiaki finally understands what she misunderstood from episode 5. And as they're talking, they talk about Amano, and Chiaki obviously says something like, oh, crash and burn in a helicopter or something of the sort. And he's like, oh, that's rude. And then he goes, Urahara asks her what her opinion is of Tendo. And she basically, like, Tendo's really good, she's perfect, you can't find any sort of flag on her whatsoever, or you can't flag her for anything. Um, and that she ended up bashing herself just like Amano does when Karen gets brought up, or Tendo Karen gets brought up. And Urahara's response was like, oh god, you and Amano should just date already. Good grief, you guys are so similar, it makes me want to throw up. But it's like, why'd you bring that up? That's rude. Why'd you bring that up? Was her usual, would be her reaction when Amano's brought up, because even though what you could take from Chiaki and Amano's relationship, or their friendship, I should say, is that even though they're similar and everybody would rather ship them instead of Amano and Tendo, um, basically because they're alike, um, their philosophies may differ, but yet they have each other's back regardless. That's what you gotta take from this. You'll find out when I get later on, when I keep going on this, that despite this, in any situation, they'll have each other's back, even if they completely misunderstand it. And it goes, and then Urahara does something that, from what I take of it, because I'm watching the dub version now, I've already watched the English sub version, the Japanese English sub version, like twice. So I'm watching the dub version. That's why it's going to be a little bit different. From what I remember, he says that, hey, he patted Chiaki on the head right before she got up and left, totally embarrassed. He goes, from what I remember, he says something like, oh, I'm sorry, I have a clingy girlfriend, she's kind of into that. Um, and then, Chiaki left, and then Amano's, like, shocked, like, oh my god, he's totally cheating. I heard everything about it. It's him saying Tendo was perfect, and him definitely patting Chiaki on the head, and while he's freaking out about this, he finally turns and takes a look at Agari, and she is using a cheat code, like up, down, left, right, A, B, B, A, B. They're just doing that, and he's like, cheat codes don't work in the real world! Ah! And, and, I'm trying to cover everything that I can, because usually I go through this piece by piece, and I take notes and all this and that. Then it moves on, and to a conversation between Amano and Agari. And this is where Amano learns a little more. Like, he learns a little bit more about how reality is different, but yet also is the same as virtual reality. Virtual reality and reality. Virtual reality paints a picture of what real reality is, and in reality, 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2. You get what I mean? I mean, it's if you don't apply yourself, you're never gonna make any progress. like you would in a game. I mean, if you apply yourself in a game, why not apply yourself in real life? I mean, yeah, there's going to be people out there who don't always finish their games that they play. Just like Amano says, he always doesn't, when he plays games, he doesn't always take the time to finish them. And that's what was brought up in the earlier episodes. Um, he also learns that it goes the same way with love. And his comment was like, "Yeah, I know where what she maxed out on her stats. Love, got a point there." Um, but she points that out. It's like love is the same way. It's not something that you can just do something and achieve it automatically, just like that. It's something you got to apply yourself for. You got to apply yourself. You got to work for it. And because he wasn't making any progress with him and Tendo. To him and Tendo aren't actually friends. He doesn't believe that he's friends with her. He says like, oh, we had a competition or that for fun, or we talked a little bit, but I don't really see us as friends. I mean, I'm like a flea compared to her. I don't think she even I think she's just doing it to be nice. But you'll find out in this episode that Tendo actually considers her and Amano friends. Even though it's never really brought up, you can see it in the conversations that they do have from 1 to now, that they can sit down together and have a conversation. But overall, Amano, who's shyer than a little puppy dog, um, just doesn't have that kind of confidence in that sort of thing. And which would also put himself in a situation where he'll bash himself, just like, oh, I can, I'm just a flea compared to her, and when he comes to he just, after he taking what Agri had explained, he takes a moment to himself, and he goes, you know what? I just might talk to Tendo tomorrow. I mean, he just wants to, what he says he wants. He wants to be friends with her. And to get to know her that way, get to know her more, then maybe something will click and they'll finally become an item, like Urahara and Agari. Even though Agari thinks Urahara is cheating on her with 2 girls, Chiaki and Tendo. And Urahara is freaking out, thinking that Amano's trying to steal Agari away from him. Urahara, later on, Amano's playing Golden Memories, right? He's claims he's already played it like 10 times already. And one of the last things that he did was with a girl that resembles Tendo. Not exactly, but resembles Tendo, and a thug comes up, which you don't see, you just see the girl and the little storyline and this and that. A thug comes up to her, it's like, "Hey, girl, why don't you come with me?" And she's like, "No, I don't want anything to do with you." And this character takes Keita's character by the hand and walks away, and the thug grabs her. She screams. You get a choice: save her or run away. He chose to run away, which he got the bad ending, which he freaked out about that. Then he got a couple of text messages to fire him up from Agri and give best wishes, good luck, hope this goes through well, and I hope and whatnot. And then he gets a message from Urahara, And he goes, "Hey, I just heard about you wanting to meet with Tendo tomorrow. Don't worry, man. I got your back. I'll set it all up for you. I'll make sure you have a really big audience." And then he immediately like, "You're gonna screw this up for me." Then he just stops, deletes his text, and he goes, "Thanks for even having my back, even though or doing this for me and having my back, but even though you're putting a whole lot of pressure on me." And after taking a bit of moment after he sent that text, he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go another round." So like, low checkpoint in the game and golden memories and play through it all again. And then he realizes maybe, this ain't how dating sims are really like. Maybe if I actually try to be nice to every single girl, and then maybe I'll finally get that ending. And he did. He got the good ending for that game, and he finally won. So he finally unlocked all the good endings and quite a lot of the bad endings. And it goes to the very next day. Amano is there at school, and he ends up going to the men's room with Urahara, and they have a conversation. Urahara thinks, Amano might be a little upset with him that he set all this up. Urahara's plan is basically to watch Amano crash and burn, and to look on the face of Agari, his girlfriend, whom we think is being taken away by Amano. That's his plan. He basically what he's doing is being a bit of a jerk, but he's trying to make this out and trying to get to the drop of things. Even though he's part of it too, he plays actually a big part of the misunderstandings, but he doesn't even bother to try and fix it. He ends up making it worse. So even though he has this goofy, guilty look on his face, it goes from him to Agri. She's going through this piece of paper. Like, Amano definitely likes Tendo, but Tendo maybe doesn't like him. And then you got, her, and she loves her Tasku, but Tasku might not love her anymore. He might go after Tendo, or he might actually go after Chiaki, and Chiaki definitely likes him because she willingly changed her look for him. But then, what about Amano and Chiaki's relationship? What is it? Amano says that, hey, they don't like each other. Like, they hate each other. No, that's not true. They only say that because their philosophies are different, even though they get along. They like to debate. They like to debate one another. That's just the pride of gamers thing. That's basically what you call it. But with Agri and Amano's relationship, they're like brother and sister. Okay? They're like brother and sister. They have that relationship because in their private conversation, when he starts talking about something, she immediately shuts him up, and he just doesn't. He just listens. You better shut up about that. Yep, I got it. Okay, I'll stop talking about it. You know, just immediately, like a brother-sister relationship, or really good friends from childhood. Even though they never really had any interaction until now, until episode 2 or 3. Well, 3. And it goes from those two to Chiaki, and Chiaki's like, "Don't worry, bro, I got your back." And I'm like, and just going through all this thing, like this multiple scenarios. These three, Agri, Urahara, Chiaki, all three of them together are all freaking out. Agri and Urahara definitely have guilty faces. Uh, even though they're especially Urahara laughing evilly. But then you have Chiaki, she's just being kind of creepy, I guess you could say, because she's like, "Don't worry, I got your back. I'll figure out what she's doing, and then I'll try and help you out. I'll try to come up with something." And unlike the Japanese English subversion, they made Chiaki a little bit, I wouldn't say shy like she was, in in the Japanese version, she's a little bit, I want maybe timid. I guess you can say she's not. I wouldn't exactly call her shy, but just like Amano in a way, she's not really good. I would say actually she's better than Amano when it comes to conversations. But she too just likes to play games for fun. She doesn't take games for seriously, even though she's also a game developer who still has no idea what direction to go with her game. And all three of them are just, it goes to a scene where you got Agri, you got Urahara, and you got Chiaki, and they're just laughing and having this weird, goofy look on their face. And everything, like the voice acting was done really well. The English dub version, the voice acting was done really well. It, it worked. It's really fun, and they get the freakouts, like the overreaction, especially with the mono. They really get the overreaction really well, and and when it comes to time, it goes to Tendo, and Tendo was like, "Oh my gosh, what does Amano want to talk about? I have no idea." But it's like she gets the feeling of a presence, looking at her. She turns and sees Chiaki, because Chiaki and her are in the same class, and Chiaki's just staring at her. She's just not like really creepy, and just she Tendo just smiles and just uh, okay. I have no idea what he wants. Ah, maybe he'll I don't know. Maybe he'll reject me again. Ah, I don't know. What does he want? I mean, we're friends. I don't know. It's like, oh my god, I mean, oh, you idiot. Amano's really shy, pestering, all he wants to do is play his games and peas. Pestering him isn't gonna make him, it's just gonna chase him away. That's what you've been doing for so long. But, but, we go to Musumi, and while all of this stuff that I've already mentioned was going on, Tendo was rejecting confessions again. And she's like, well, I'm just gonna, let's just, if you do it nicely, then, you know, things will just get sad and it's just make things work. Well, it's best just to nip it in the butt. And Miss Me's like, well, I wouldn't really, nip it in the butt, per se, because you kind of look like a monster out there. Like, what? Monster? And And it's like, yeah, nipping it in the butt ain't helping you in your mono situation. And did you say something? No, no, nothing. Maybe you should take things differently instead of having. And he brought back with everyone else's, like she automatically has something to say to anyone, pretty much to anyone. If you walk up to her, she'll automatically have like a hi or a goodbye or whatever. See you tomorrow. An immediately reaction, just like with her rejection of other guys' confessions, like she immediately rejects them. Doesn't, go in the moment, think things through, just immediately, like right off the bat. But this time, she decides that she's actually going to listen to Misumi's advice, and follow her heart. So say what she's feeling, not just immediately what just come to mind. Just say, like follow your heart, come with something to your mind. And the time has come, and this is this like the funny faces, the whole misunderstanding, controversy of who's cheating on who or what's going on between this person is like, what's gonna fall or whatnot. When Tendo shows up, Amano immediately says, "Oh my gosh, he showed up." uh, what do I do? What do I do? Looks at Urahara. Urahara was like, yeah, good luck, dude. And then he turns and Agri just runs in the room to where she can see everything. And then standing in the doorway, a nervous wreck, you can probably say, would have to be a Chucky because she just looks nervous. Just that cautiousness of. And then they talk a little bit like, hey, Tendo. It's like, hey, Amano, what was it one you want to talk about? It's like, oh, well, I'm not good at this sort of thing, so this is going to be a little bit hard for me to say. And just like, well, don't beat around the bush, just say what you got to say. And he looks for confidence. He looks for his backup, like his friends, like Urahara. He looks at Urahara. Urahara's having like a deadlock staring contest with Agari, and Agari's doing the exact same thing with a funny guilty look on their faces. And then it goes to Chiaki, and Chiaki's staring at Urahara and Agari, and then she realizes like, oh, these two actually must be an item. Duh. And it's like, oh, maybe they're here just to watch Amano crash and burn, like, just to see what he comes out of his mouth. Oh, then what would Agri think about this? I don't know what to do! And there's the question, will you go, or will you, and then it goes from Tendo, just follow your heart, just breathe in the moment, take it all in, and then just go with the flow. Just follow your heart and go with the flow. And then it goes to the final person, Amano. Amano is just as those words about to come out of my mouth, I started thinking back to the time where she said hello. So you get a flashback of everything that happened from the times that they've met in the video game store to now. And to think that this is the exact same hint that what goes on at this moment is what you got a little snippet of at the very first episode. What started the very first episode. And then the game popped up, Golden Memories. The final the final line was, will you please go out with me? And he goes, Tendo, will you please go out with me? Urahara, Chiaki, Agari, even Tendo, all freaked out. Completely shocked. Other than Amano just realizes what he just said. Crap. I think that just came out different than what I expected it to. Before I could say anymore, everybody, that the audience, the background, students, all lit up. All lit up. And then Tendo finally comes to that, like, you get to the last part where Tendo finally gets that surprised look because she immediately accepted that basically a confession from Amano. She accepted it. Even though he meant that I was just going to ask you to be a friend. It was just a friend request. Even though and everyone else knows who's seen this, that he does like Tendo. He does like her. But he doesn't know that she likes him. And that he should know because he knows that she stalks him. He's always seeing her in the corner of his eyes, like, I see you. No. But as funny as the whole misunderstandings are, because it basically surrounds this entire, not just this entire episodes, but the entire anime itself, it's part of the entertainment. And it's got just such character growth to where characters either plan something to try and see if it's true or to say what they really feel. And Amano said what he really felt. What he really felt. Instead of going with what he planned on saying. What he said he was set out to do. He wanted to become friends with her. But yet, deep down, you can tell he wanted more. So anyway, I would like to end this episode, episode 6 of Gamers gets a 9 out of 10. So I want to thank you guys for watching. That's all I have for you guys for right now. So let's cool down and look forward for the next review. Peace.